Welcome to our webinar from Filmakret Hub. My name is Andrea Giannone, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Filmakret Hub. Filmakret Hub is an online marketplace where we are connecting hundreds of filmmakers and film companies that they are making films and TV series with the resources in order to make them happen. So basically, we are connecting them with another producers, co-producers, national, international, but also with the funding, like broadcasters and the streaming platforms. Let me show you a little bit how it works. Basically, this is the platform. It's super easy to use. You just have to put filmmarkethub.com and you just have to sign up by free. The idea is that we create a whole market when you can upload your project. But I wanted to show you first kind of like the who we are and what we are doing for the people that have development projects on the development stage, which means they haven't received funds yet. They are looking for partners in order to make them happen. So this is the marketplace. It's super easy. It's 100% adapt to the producers and the buyers language. So if they are looking at a project, they have to just get in. They can apply filters and they can find you right away. The idea is that if you upload a project, you will have a profile only for your series or your future films. And then you can upload all the relevant info in the one page, which is the one that the buyers can see. And then if someone is interested, they just have to ask permission to find the files that are behind. They are we protecting them because here is the screenplay, but also the additional documents that all projects that are in the development stage need to have, like the Bible, but also the dossier. But also, and the reason why we are here is that sometimes these projects receive a coverage or a recognitions or something that validates them. They are really good. We have, like for example, a script analyze, which is one of the services that we also have. Like, kind of like when we started this project, Filmakret Hub, we realized that connecting people wasn't enough. I mean, you can have an incredible project, but there are so many projects on the marketplace that sometimes you need also kind of like validate yourself in front of the industry. And one way is to receiving this coverage that give you this kind of like validation that actually someone that is an expert reading or analyzing something says that your project is amazing. So we started with this one, script analyze. It's an additional service that you can hire for your project, and it has been working very well. And thanks to the technology, like 2 years ago, we found another info that is super relevant and is helping hundreds of producers to connecting with the executive, with the deal makers. And for that reason, we create with BetaSeries, and that is why Rémy is with us today, Market Analyze. Rémy is going to explain you deep how it is and how it works. But I just want to give you kind of like a highlight of why we decide to do this. We realize that sometimes in this new version of this new model of connecting with the streaming platform, it's very important to give insights to the producers to recognize their projects in the marketplace, to give them this information, to have a plenty conversation with a deal maker in order to convince them. But also it helps to understand better your project. What this service does is basically can find and recognize your audiences. Where are they? The territories. With who might be interesting in your, and is someone interesting? That is very important sometimes because sometimes we create a project and we don't know if someone is going to like it. And sometimes you're talking with a producer or executive that says, I don't know, is the people going to like it or not? Okay, here is a validation. If you run this coverage, you might have this information that yes, and actually there are, for example, a segment of audiences that are very interested in my project, not in Spain, but maybe in another country, because this service runs internationally. Actually, BetaSeries is from France, and Rémy is going to explain you very well. We are based in Spain, and we are an international platform that we are connecting with international executives. So we wanted to give it to you stronger services to help you to improve your projects, but also to sell better. So I'm not going to talk more because I already talk a lot. So I'm going to give Rémy the opportunity to explain you how does this service works and how it helps you, and it will help you to connect with the right executive very effectively. So Rémy, let me
split. Yeah,
exactly.
Good.
So just to remind that if you have any question, please put it on the Q&A, and at the end we will answer. Okay. So I'm not going to interrupt you more, Rémy. So
it's excellent, perfect, good. So thank you very much to be with us today. I'm Rémy, the CEO of BetaSeries. Before going in the product, I will make a little review of this market that is exploding and show you a couple of big data around these huge opportunities that producers can find by selling and developing and selling TV series to platforms or to their channels that are now in competition with platforms. So basically, I made a couple of slides which are quite general about the market before going into the subject. So first, we have a big revolution these days about internet that has broken all the frontiers, and we are not anymore in an offer marketing world. It's not anymore what is on TV tonight on a few channels. Today, you ask yourself, what kind of video will I watch tonight? We are in a demand marketing. There are many, many videos, many possibilities for users. So we have changed the mindset. There is a lot more consumption, usage of video. And in fact, it is driven by what we call, in fact, the OTT market. OTT being these new platforms using the internet to deliver, the content to the home. They are American. They are also local. I will show you just after. But here in the US, in black, you see that people watch the platforms where you have the TV series as main drivers, almost the same time as TV. And on the right here, you see that the business around OTT is growing and growing in the world, and to be very soon at the equivalent of the historical TV business. So it has started with Netflix, and then Prime and Apple TV. So by Silicon Valley companies building SVOD offers, so movies and TV series, but most of all TV series, as much as you want for a fixed price. And they have started to develop their own productions so that the studios, US studios, have been attacked because they were afraid to lose, their business of content, because GAFAs, these companies, were starting to develop on their own their content. So they have all started to go and fight to find the consumer on the markets. And we had Disney Plus coming, Paramount Plus very soon, HBO Max, not everywhere, Peacock in the US, developing Starz Play, Discovery, developing Discovery Plus, and very soon merging with HBO Max. So all studios are starting, to launch their offer in competition to the first ones. And then the local people, they started to react. The local pay TV, they said, oh, they launch offers at 10 euros, it's OTT, it's on any screen and so on. I will do the same. So all companies in each European countries start their Sky Go, their OCS Go, their Movie Star offer, available like Netflix on a small screen or anywhere on the go. And at the end of the day, a final group of companies have come. It's the free TV, because all of this has taken so much audience from free TV that free TV needed also to go in that space and to get their subscribers that they lost from free TV. And this is what we see now with, I don't know much loves TV in Spain, but in France you have Salto, BritBox in the UK, Joy in Germany. And all of this is paying. But now you have also the AVOD, advertising financed video on demand. And even new actors are coming You have, for instance, Mango in France, Samsung International, Roku coming to Europe, Pluto coming to Europe. So you have a lot of people, you know. Okay, so you have a lot more players, and all these people look for content. So content is booming, and it's an opportunity for producers. All of these platforms, they are operators. They recruit, they monetize, and they retain users, subscribers, you know, a community of users with new rules. It's not audience that is important for them. It is acquisition. It is the revenue you get, the average revenue per user, RPU. So how much money you get per user and how much people leave your service. It is called the churn rate. How many people leave the service and on which audience, because their audience is an aggregate of young women, older men, and so on. It's not the big mainstream TV like we have in the free world. So to pitch a series, to pitch a content, you need to understand this and to deliver to the platforms this kind of elements so that you are at the same level of discussion. And there are many others. I'm not spending time here because I'm doing a lot of keynotes. They can be during days, you know, around that. But they also analyze the reach, so the potential of the franchise of your content, how much people go to the end of your episode. You see here, we realize that on the Netflix content, people leave only 58% people go to the end of episodes. And we know also that people binge watch in 2 days, you know, the episodes. It's not anymore one episode per week. If you make it all available, you have a certain category of people watching them all. So you see, we are in a new world with many new elements to take into account and to demonstrate if a content is a success or not. And this is where we can help you. Because these guys are spending billions, 100 billions in films and series, you know, only Disney or Netflix, it's 50 together almost, you know, and it's rising the production cost, even difficulties to find studios and so on. We know there are problems because they ask a lot more, but there are also advantages because they buy a lot of local content in Europe. To compare 150 billion spent by the 8 big companies coming to Europe, in France, it's 2 billion on French TVs buying films and series. So there is a big gap. So it's true that we have to sell to these guys because they are so rich and they will spend content, but we should not forget traditional TV that competes against them. So because TV series are the main acquisition and retention driver, you know, they spend for Lord of the Rings $1 billion, you know, for this series. They spend $500 million to keep Seinfeld, you know, in their series. So because of this, TV series is very important in their strategies. And you don't have data in this industry. You don't have a lot of data. Here, when we read sometimes, I mean, the US press and European press, I took this clipping, you know, saying that in fact, filmmakers, they don't, so it's blank, you know, in fact, between you and me, it was Prime Video here. But they say that filmmakers, they don't get, you know, information about who see the movies and the series, I would add, you know, even if the platform has the data, but there is no ratings, no box office, there is no data. So, and it's a problem because if you don't know who watch, you know, your series, you cannot negotiate and you cannot understand how to build a better next project. You don't know how to recruit, you know, an investor because you have no data. And this is a big problem around this industry. It's data access. That's why we use BetaSeries. That is a big community of series fans, 5 million per month, every month, coming to get recommendation and to note in our system everything they watch, you know, or they stop watching. So we collect a lot of information about, in fact, the success of series, how many people watch, how many people go to the end of series, who they are, what else do they watch. Okay, and together with Filmakret, we think that we can help TV series producers to grab this opportunity, okay, by building for you pitching material around your TV scripts, so that you can go to the platforms and you know already what are your audiences, what are the commissioners to see, what are your genres, is there a demand on the genre you have, and so on. So together, you know, between our marketing product and the contacts and market intelligence of Filmakret, together we help you to take the future in your hands. So I'm going now to go to these BetaSeries forecast platforms, and instead of spending a lot of time, I will go to the demo, but just in few words, you know, it is the first solution, scientific solution to forecast on a script, you know, your target, your genre, your potential, who you are, what are your comparables, and it is very helpful when you pitch your TV series instead of just pitching the artistic material, which is essential. If it's not good artistically, you don't sell. But if you have the marketing data, you can sell goods, and you can sell for sure. And this is where we are. So we sell that to producers who have new TV series project, and it could be interesting also for commissioners evaluating their purchase, either co-productions or pre-sales. Okay. So what I will show you, in fact, analyzes your scripts and use our data to help you understand your competition, your audience, who to watch and pitch to, and it gives you also a ready-to-go, you know, PDF that you can send right away to your commissioners. So you don't have any work to do. It's easy. You will see. I mean, it's very easy to use, to understand, and it is pre-packaged. So you don't need to be a marketer. You don't need to be a data analyst. Everything is done by us. With a notice, and so it's ready to use. So everything is based on the data we collect from BetaSeries. BetaSeries is available in several languages. Here we have French, but we have, for instance, we have Spanish, and las últimas novedades sobre series. And
very good.
yeah, my Italian is better than my Spanish, and so people can find here a lot of recommendations. But when you are logged, like I am here, I can also access an agenda and be notified of all the new series that I like, that can watch. And every time I see a new series, I say, yes, I like, I watched, or not, a new episode. And we collect all of this for hundreds, thousands of people in several countries to build a huge data platform that is called BetaSeries Insights here. And for each series, let's say Bridgerton here, we know the gender, the CSP, the age. We know in time, first season, second season. Don't worry, it is working, but we still have a lot of people watching. So this will increase, go up, 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 up. So you see the series good. Here, for instance, we see that the series 4% better. People go 4% more at the end than 204 shows, you know, period drama on Netflix. Okay, so we have many other analytics here. We can analyze the rankings, you know, in your territory, who is watching what. So here in France, in real time, how many people, so Bridgerton is first, Snowpiercer second, Drôle is a French original third, and so on, which platform, and so on. And we can do that for Spain also. So it's another ranking. You still have Bridgerton. Oh, sorry. You have Snowpiercer, Bridgerton, Human Resources, Euphoria, Loki. And you have some movie star show also, some HBO and movie star show here, and so on. So this is what we do. And we have also interesting data about platforms. So for instance, I can compare Prime and Netflix. And I will know who has more first season. I will know what, for instance, in romance here, I know that you have a 6% romance No, sorry, romance is here. I have 3% romance in Amazon catalog, but 10% usage almost. And I have 8% catalog, but 6% usage. So in fact, you have a lot more people looking for romance to Prime than people looking for romance to Netflix because they have already a lot. So as a producer, we help you to go to the place where there is more demand than offer. And it's good to sell when your product is demanded, right? So I stop with the Insight platform, but it is to show you all what we do with our data, whether it is rankings, platforms analytics, user analytics, show performance, movie performance, all of this data. It's a huge amount of data. We have more than 150,000 people every day saying what they watched the day before. So we collect more than 2.2 million subscribers in the system. And all of this makes available the script analysis we developed with Filmakret Hub. So here it's anonymous. It's a producer. He gave me a script. So here is his script. I call it demo, but it's a real one. And it tells me, to make it short, he would like to pitch it to Netflix. So first thing we analyze is a script or first episode or a Bible. We need to have something written pretty long, and we find keywords in this that we match with existing series. And we discuss with the producer a list of comparables. Here there are 10 comparables. And in this list, the producer tells us, Rémy, Andrea, this is my comparables. This is the one that in the list you give me, that are the comparables close to my script. So once we have this close series to your script, then we process that, we press a button, calculate predictions, and we reveal the robot portrait of your series. We tell you the keywords and then the cloud of words. We tell you that it's going to be a rather important series, category B. We tell you the commissioners, today distributing all your comparables. It gives you ideas of companies to go and visit. It gives you the overall audience of all your comparables, and you are in the middle of that. And it calculates for the biggest target where you are. You are in green here. You're called demo, in the middle of the others. And this is very useful for a platform to understand what is your target here. Obviously, platforms, they're looking for this category of people and this one and this one and this one. It's a mix, and we help you to, in fact, pinpoint exactly the segment they're looking for. And if you tell me I would like to go and pitch to Netflix, and we can change this, of course, but we give you the projection of these 5 comparables. So it's your project in the middle of that on Netflix. And we tell you, if you go to Netflix, be careful, your project is more for men than what they have, is less for young people than what they have, is more for educated people than what they have. It's good to know. It's very useful to pitch your series for their targets. And we do the same with the genre. We analyze the genre mix of all your comparables, and you are in a mix of that. And we project that on Netflix, and we tell you, oh, your project is proposed by 12% of Netflix catalog, but it is consumed by almost 15% of people. So it's more people who want than people what they can find. So you are on a growing segment, a segment of interest. And this is an information, the usage we calculate every 3 months. So we can check every time before you go to the platform that we are still in the right demand. And you can even select which segment is the best. It's better that you pitch it as action, because you see a lot more action demand than consumption, because you are a little bit of action, drama. So maybe you should say it's a mix of drama and action, because then you have a lot of green. So you have a lot of demand on your show. And it is a way to write even your pitch deck. We analyze also on your comparables how they perform in their genre. So your 5 comparables they perform 2.6% better than all the action, on Netflix. Even less than 1% on crime, and a little bit less in drama. So it's better for you to pitch it as action and to present it as action. We also propose you all what people watch, your comparables are watched by people watching all of this, not only your comparables, but also comedies or other titles. And it's good to understand the viewing universe of your audience. And then finally, we also give you for all your comparables, the shooting countries, the main producer of your comparables, the main production countries, and the main financing model that is used, and the budget, it's between 1 and 2 million. So it's quite expensive series, actually, these projects, because we have below 1 million also, but here it's not below 1 million. So here it gives you an idea of also maybe potential partners, potential shooting countries. So all of this, is what we give you just if you submit one simple script, and we give you a PDF like this one, so that everything is explained with notice here, keywords, audience, genre analysis, performance, viewing universe, comparables, and this PDF, and who we are and where we come from, our methodology, so that methodology is explained here, and so that at the end of the day, and who is BetaSeries and who is Market Hub, so that at the end of the day, you can send this right away to your commissioner. And when you give us, your project, we put your nice picture here, we put your brief here. This is blank. But you can send a pitch deck ready to go to your commissioner, and it's very good also to have this kind of report you made. It demonstrates you're interested in your commissioner, you want to address their needs, and in the best way to perform a good sale. So this is what I wanted to show you, and of course, there is a big revolution in this TV series segments. It's very complex, and we need for that more data than ever to develop and sell projects. So we hope that with this solution, we bring to you an affordable, powerful, local and international script forecast and financing analysis solution to catch this growing opportunity on the market. So you're just welcome to come and test. I say come and meet, but come and test with us. We'd be happy to accompany you in your development. And this is the end of my presentation. Of course, we are more than available to answer all your questions. And I give the word back to Andrea.
Wow, thank you, Rémy. That was very interesting. I'm super happy that we still have all the people that started at the beginning. And I have to apologize for someone that was super crazy on the chat. Sometimes it happens. It's the first time that happens to us. But, and I'm seeing people that are asking questions. Javi Aragus. I know this guy. Okay, so some people are asking in Spanish, so I will translate it to you. It will take me a little bit. So it's only for series. Javi is asking, is it just for series? It's also for films or documentaries. In this case, it's Rémy,
Yeah, I mean, in fact, today the platforms, they use a lot, in fact, TV series in their strategies, and they use more the movies in there because there is a usage about movie, but it's more difficult for them to say, if I take this movie, I take this audience and the audience will stay. Whereas with a TV series, you have many episodes, TV series, you have many lookalikes and so on. So in fact, they use a lot TV series, and furthermore, they have their own originals. They can analyze. They have developed, exclusive big title on TV series. So in fact, they use TV series a lot. And in your pitch, what we build is a lot of elements that speak to their acquisition and retention strategies. So This is why we focused a lot on TV series. We have also a lot of data around movies, but we don't have all these, loyalty between episodes, all of these things. So we have less data to bring to develop a pitch deck, but we are working on this to see how also we can target commissioners with a movie. What we can bring for sure is for a movie, what are the comparable TV series people watch, platforms, so we can do this kind of matching, but it will be another product. This one is really focusing on TV series, being fiction, but also documentaries in several episodes, because again, you have these kind of episodes, it could be animated also, but several episodes, justifies. Yeah. What we don't cover is unscripted. They will propose more and more unscripted, but unscripted is not, an asset of the company that they use and use and use. It's more, a product that people don't want to watch again. So we cannot motivate people really to track and to put in our system what they watch. So yeah, we concentrate a lot on fiction, documentary, but everything which is serialized.
Okay, so I hope, Javi, you have an answer. And I know Javi understands English. So Marina, she is asking, okay, so will this service let me know if I'm not already too late to sell my project? That's the first time that someone asked us this. Interesting. So basically, sometimes, I will translate that too. So sometimes when a producer, a young emerging producer have this idea, they're very too enthusiastic about it might work, but they don't have this data that actually we are providing here. When they go to the market and try to sell the project, the feedback sometimes is like, no, this is old fashioned. For example, I don't know, if you sell vampires today, it could tell you like, no, maybe zombies, for example. Is this zombie thing a trendy thing? That's, I guess we could know with this service, is it too late or not?
Yeah, because we will see the demand and the catalog. Exactly. If you have a genre, because I was yesterday pitching in a French big event for French producers, and Amazon Prime head of originals came, Paramount Plus came, Disney Plus came, and all of them, they were saying, we don't want just, drama. We want a lot of genre, because we address a lot of different segments of people. And in fact, we have less genre, than what we need. And in TV, you don't have on prime time, on a TVA in Spain or on Cinco, you don't have an horror TV series. You have a drama, you have a thriller or a comedy usually. So platforms are very interested by genre. So it's interesting to pitch them, for instance, a genre. But if you are everybody at the same time pitching thriller, horror or mystery, then there will be a saturation. And we measure that. So we'll tell you, maybe it's not on this platform you should go, because this one, they don't have it. So you should change the platform.
Exactly. That's very important. I wanted to also make a kind of like a summary of all that you said, because sometimes what happens in Filmakret Hub is like, at the second, when the young producers, the emerging producers upload the projects, the first thing that they have in their head is like, I want to connect with Netflix because we have Netflix. But that's sometimes is not the best solution, because you might be no fit in what Netflix is looking for, but you don't know. So that's the thing. So, I mean, what we tried here is to provide data in order to also open your spectrum. At the same time, this data is about platforms. But as you know, the platforms they don't produce. You need to find the aggregators, the companies that are already working with these platforms, and we provide this info on the coverage. Rémy already showed it a little bit and super fast, but that's the info that also this coverage has. So this coverage has a very interesting comparables that we in the film industry we call it benchmark. These benchmarks will help you first to let you know if you are in the right track.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that is going to help you, because sometimes we think like, oh my God, I have a super action series. It's not action. It's very drama. By the way, this is what the artificial intelligence does. And then when we have this data very accurate, because it's a technology doing it, not me having a feeling that I have a very action project. No, super accurate. We integrate this with BetaSeries, and BetaSeries track all the info on the market. They know exactly what the people is doing because they are getting this data from me. By the way, I have the platform, and I put last night I put like I saw the one of Disney. I give you the data. That is very important. And that's a good thing of BetaSeries and not other companies, because they have the info direct for the people. And then what this coverage or this analyze, this platform is going to make is audience analyze. It will give you 100 of insights that the aggregator, the company that you need if you're an emerging producer, will need this info, because when you match with these companies, then the one that is working for the platforms, they have to pitch to after you. So if you give them this info, if you convince them, because the aggregators, they don't have data, the platform does. So basically the platform says like, okay, I'm looking for genre in Spain, and said, okay, and they go to find genre. But if you give them more info about it, you will have more possibility to have this match with the aggregator. And then the coverage give you some of aggregators, but also give you info like, okay, maybe Netflix is not the one, maybe other platforms. You have national platforms, you have international platforms. I mean, there are hundreds of people putting a lot of money to make content. So you need to have this info, and also to give you a better roadmap. So I have another question.
Sorry, just to complete, for instance, you have Netflix, but you have other platforms. Let's take the example of Starts Play. In Spain, they just released Express. It's a Spanish producer who did that. It's very genre, minded. And I know that if I can show you our data, but I mean, it's on another occasion I can do that. But you will see that Starts Play is really focusing on very specific targets.
Exactly.
They are not speaking to one target only. If you have their movies, their originals like Gangs of London or Power, it's men interested by violence, so it's men 25, 35. If you have normal people, it's very young girl and boys, more in their teen drama style. And then they also have period drama for elder women, like Spanish Princess, which is Spanish again, Spanish Princess, White Princess, Elizabeth. It's their new show that will come up. So they are, and their boss in the US, he says, we have big franchises, we have identified several targets, and we will just, address these targets by now. If you go to Apple, it's everybody is a little bit older, men, and upper class. If you go to Netflix, so then you can address, you can select your genre according to the strategy of the platforms. And I think that somebody asked that if we can identify a niche,
Yes,
an upcoming
that's a question.
niche. So we are also identifying the emerging genre. And I think that in the next release, we will put some kind of a flag like growing genre or decreasing genre, so that we know that this one is still small, but is growing. So it's a good point, what you mentioned. It is in development right now, the trend of the genre. And it makes a lot of sense, because it takes time to develop a script, but it takes time also to install a new genre, because you have to have several series. So if you don't take 3 years, but 1 year to develop it, and if you pitch it in 3 months, I think we can catch up with the beginning of a genre growing. We can catch up with this opportunity.
Nice. So I have another story about it, because it's sometimes when we receive all this info about data and new stuff, if we give more examples, people understand better, like, okay, this might help me also. For example, if you're in Spain, your natural partner are going to be the national aggregators. And imagine that you are doing, I don't know, genre that is with war, related with war. We normally, I don't know, because I haven't checked on BetaSeries, but I'm going to, assume that right now the aggregators and the platforms, they're not kind of looking war genre in Spain. What BetaSeries can make is tells you like, by the way, but in Germany, they are looking for. And these are the aggregators that are working for the platform, and we might have them. So that's the thing. I mean, it helps you to open the spectrum again. Like it gives you a lot of insight, because when you see it kind of like the coverage, it's kind of like, wow, it's not that complicated. And what this info, how it's going to help me? And it's going to help you. You don't have an idea. It's amazing all the info that when you have it, you can, plan a strategy. You can find partners in different countries. You might know, like, for example, they're not interested in my country, but I know the other country, they're super interesting. Let me find them. So we always recommend, like, go to the website, super easy, read everything. We are changing all the time because it's a new service. So we are getting feedback from you guys, and then we try to improve the service. Also, when we started, it was super easy. I remember that we want to just give like 3 things. Like we want to give like genre, the platform. And when we started, on the process, and Rémy was working with all the insights that actually we can get from real series that are happening, all this info appears. And it was super, super, super helpful, because we don't have data, and we are working right now with data. I mean, our industry right now is 100% data on the streaming platforms. And in order to convince them, and I know that the story is super important. The story, when you have a project, there is kind of like different percentage of importance. Like, for example, the creative side. Okay, go to script analyze to check that, whatever. That's important. But also the market fit. Like, it is your series right now trendy or not, or where? I believe that all of them are trendy because the market, as Rémy said, is super, super big. So you just need to find the right match. And sometimes you are not looking in the right place. So this service will help you also to say that. I not repeat myself a lot, but it's very important to receive this info.
But, and I would say that, I'm a bit to summarize, already having comparables, like we have a lot in the movie industry. Find the right comparables of TV series. Know precisely the audience targets.
Yeah.
Know if all your comparables perform well and where, so that you have a good, a solid, assessment of your script. You know the genre. You know if it is a growing genre. You know if similar series are a success, and if
exactly, that's important.
In movies, that's what we do. I was at Warner Brothers, and that's what we did, comparables, and to build our stories from comparables. And this is besides your pitch, the artistic pitch. And let's say with a good artistic pitch and no data, you can manage, but data will help you a lot. A bad artistic pitch and a lot of data will not help. So data is just to sustain, to make you more solid in your pitch and address more precisely your commissioners.
I agree 100% on that. Also, for example, there is one customer that uses that service, and actually, the first thing that I want to say is sometimes when they upload the project on the Filmakret Hub, they use reference, the artistic one, with series that haven't done well on the market, and that is one of the biggest mistake, and unfortunately is very common. So it is important to try to track comparables that are working on the market. But also, and what happened with one of our customers, and it was very interesting because we didn't realize that could happen, is that actually they were more serious on the market, very similar, not exactly the same. So don't be scared, because sometimes the producers are like, my project is super original. No. I mean, you need to have another reference and something similar that is working in the market. That is very important. So you have to learn that. And after you understand and accept that, what happened is that BetaSeries is going to give you 10 comparables. And sometimes there are some series that you don't know. So it will help you also to improve your creative side, because you will find more examples, you will find more different ways to tell how, for example, on the north of Europe, people is telling the stories. And it's very interesting to also give you more, info related on the stories that you want to tell. And it's very helpful, actually. Yeah, that was one of the feedback that we received of the beginning. People is saying the service is on fire. So I guess we are getting at the end of the webinar. It was super fast. I guess you will have like tons of questions. So please ask all of them if you want on the platform, because this service is about technology. Sometimes people get scared, but this technology is super simple. Once you read it, once you understand it, it's super simple. Don't be scared about it. And it's super interesting and very helpful. Also, if you have interest in, like testing or doing stuff like that, we are super open, because we want a lot of people using it in order also to receive more feedback if you like it or not. I know that you like it because we have received good feedback, all of them. So Rémy, I don't know if you want to say anything else.
No, just try, and especially if you target a series that can travel, that has a potential international. If you have in mind to discuss with platforms, I think that it's extremely useful, and we see more and more people from TV interested by this also. But the main focus is effectively to try to catch, this global series, as we say, series that have a success locally, but also international potential. So thank you a lot for your attention, and I hope to contribute to your success.
Yeah. So remember, we have something. The last question, maybe. Yeah, that was the last thing that I was going to say. Remember that this webinar, we are recording this webinar, so you will have them and all our channels and the community. So don't worry about it. And if you don't find it, you can ask about it. You can also, if you want to talk to webinar, to Rémy, you can also tell us. And we are here to help you. Super interesting to talk to you, by the way, and know about your projects, because sometimes also when you have this conversation openly, you also receive feedback in order to improve. So thank you very much for being here again, Rémy. Super happy to have you here.
Gracias.
De nada. Bueno, de hecho, I'm going to say in Spanish. Muchas gracias por estar aquí a todos los que vinieron hoy. Sé que la mayoría hablan castellano. No se preocupen si hay algunas cosillas que no entendieron. Nosotros vamos a estar súper dispuestos a ayudarles, a explicarles cómo funciona. Algo que no hemos dicho es de este servicio está en inglés y en castellano. O sea, si la serie está en español, la pueden inscribir, el piloto, solo hace falta el piloto. Con un piloto ya pueden tener toda esta información. Una vez que recibimos el coverage, nosotros también vamos a saber quiénes podrían estar interesados y tenemos a estas empresas, con lo cual, usarlo y una vez más, muchas gracias por estar aquí. Subiremos el webinar, lo trataremos de traducir, pero si tienen alguna duda, ya saben, pueden escribirnos o mirar en nuestras redes sociales. Thank you very much for being here. I'm going to close right now the webinar. So Rémy, I will be able to say goodbye to you because the Zoom is going to close. So super happy to have you here.